guys, we made it to Des Moines. Yay! So we have however long? Like an hour or ish before we really need to care about being in line. So we're gonna go on that. Woohoo! And wherever else the Iowa roads, the Des Moines roads take us in food.
You just got me like pulling up my
stuff. She was handling her business. Zoom. Zoom. No. Alright. So yay. We'll take you guys along with us, I guess, every so often. You can't be with us the whole time though, because
sorry about it.
Yeah, you know, we have conversations to have and places to go. Oh my gosh, it's chilly. Bye. Alright. So we're here at the event, and we just found out that Jay Crownover's not going to be here. Her plane broke, so she's stuck in Denver. But we're here with awesome friends. Hi. And then Carmen, of course, is probably talking to Corey or something.
No, I know.
Oh, you're Instagramming. And then she'll be talking to Corey.
And then shut your mouth.
Am I lying? All right.
Well, young adult is a category that bridges the gap between young adult fiction for teens and just regular adult fiction. And it's sort of about that time, either when you are right out of high school, going to college, working your first job, moving away from home. And it's about all of those firsts that are super terrifying, but also simultaneously really exciting. And it's just about sort of figuring out who you are, but also having to do that in a world that has suddenly gotten much bigger than it used to be and much scarier. And that's what adult is for me.
Yeah, it's pretty much what Cora said. I basically say too, it's like experiencing the first without the safety net of your parents, like what you do in high school. You know, most times when you get to college, you can't rely on mom and dad always to get you out of trouble, to make decisions for you. So it's experiencing that without the safety net of adults, basically. I started out actually, what Cora says, I started a very non-traditional way. My first series was YA, and that was through a small press.
And it's fantastic.
Thanks. And then after getting a publishing contract with 2 small presses, I got an agent, and then I sold my first book to Disney Hyperion, which now just came out, which I sold that book like 3 years ago. But I actually, during that time, I did a couple more deals, like one with Harlequin Teen, and was working with Entangled. I had written Wait For You, and the idea, actually, my agent always makes a joke of it, because I got the idea for Wait For You while I was taking a shower. And she's like, you know, you need to do that more often. And I was like, do what exactly? You shower every day. I try. Usually they're not that productive. And when I wrote Wait For You, my agent loved it, and we really thought that we would be able to sell it, because I already had the traditional contracts, I had the small press contracts, but once again at that time, it was not a viable genre. Like, publishers didn't know what to do with it. So all the publishers we took it to, they wanted me to wait 6 months to see how, like, for example, Cora's book did, because they picked it up and they were putting it into print, so they wanted to see how it would do in print. And it wasn't just Cora's, it was like Jamie's, Colleen's, all of them, Tamara's. And my agent and I talked, and we were like, we're not going to wait, you know, till you guys decide.
I'm not going to wait for you.
What is that? I know, whatever. So we self-published it. So it was a very weird situation, because that was in February of last year. We got turned down, basically, in February of last year. I self-published it at the beginning of March, roughly, around that time. And within 2 to 3, maybe 3 weeks, it hit #1 on New York Times. So it was very quickly, from the point that they had that book sitting on their desks, turned it down, and then we turned around and it hit New York Times. And not that Wait For You was a wake-up call to them, not that it was my book, but I think it served something to the publishers to realize, because that turnaround was so quickly from when they had that book, and was just like, we're not willing to take that risk, to, okay, peace out. And so I think at that point, I did notice afterwards, they were acquiring books at a rapid clip at that point.
Yeah, Lisa DeRoche, I always say her name wrong.
I say does, I can't pronounce
do
that
too.
last name. So.
Hers came right after that. They picked hers up right after that. That was one of the first sort of new adult books that was not indie published first.
You know, you're reading, oh, it's terrible. Oh, Honest Trailers. Like, I'll find myself, like, watching. Do you guys watch Honest Trailers? If not, look it up, it's hilarious. And I'll go through, like, every single one of them, and there's hundreds probably. So at that point, then I'll do it.
Do you watch them for things you don't even know?
No. Yes, I watch them for.
I watched one for like a video game that I've never played, never will play, but I still watch the trailer.
Yeah, it's so funny. But one thing with you guys that follow me, if I know that I'm getting behind and I'm getting too distracted, I'll usually update and say, okay, I'm going to disappear for a while because I just have to. Like, but then literally like 5 minutes later, I'm like responding to I have no impulse control whatsoever. Like sometimes I'll shut down my internet, and then that's even worse because then it takes me longer to bring the internet page back up. So I just leave it up. And then I used what is that, Ride or Die.
I love Ride or Die.
It doesn't work for me because I wanted to see what kamikaze mode did, so I purposely sat there and did not write until it went off. And so this, yeah.
So you should explain it.
Ride or Die is a system that pretty much makes you write. You have different settings.
Yeah, you can put on different settings. Essentially, if you write too slow or if you pause for too long, it gives you, well, they're like punishments. But like one of them's like the screen flashes weird colors. The other one plays like really obnoxious music.
And you can pick the obnoxious noise. Like one of them was like Lucifer, like yelling or something. Yeah. I went through and listened to all the scenes. It didn't work for me. I spent an hour listening to all the stupid sounds.
I used Ride or Die for a while. Now I use this thing called Written Kitten, and every 100 words you write, it gives you a picture of a cute kitten. But here's the best thing about it. You can actually like modify it to be whatever you want. You can hook it up to like a Google image search.
Oh my God!
And so I did Written Ian Somerhalder. Your words, I get a different picture of Ian Somerhalder.
But you're going to read reviews, especially when you're starting out, because you can't help yourself. You want to know what people think. And then what will happen is you'll see like a negative review that's legit. I mean, you know, hey,
Different strokes for different strokes. Different strokes for different folks.
I said different votes. I'm so brain dead. I apologize. Not doing too well today. Then you eventually stumble across a review that's kind of like a kick in the stomach. The one that is like, wow, they really did not like it. And that kind of teaches you not to go look at reviews. I operate by belief reviews are for readers, they are not for authors. My agent, my editor, my partners, and my people, they are the ones who tell me what to change and what not to change. I don't use reviews as critical feedback because that is what everybody else
That's right, by committing.
Yeah, and also there's people who are getting paid to tell me how much I suck. So it's like, you know, we'll just leave it. I don't need the people, you know, they're the ones who are telling me to fix things. So I don't read reviews to learn anything from them. And I do believe that reviews are meant for readers and not for authors. And no one believes this, but it's so true. A negative review isn't going to sink you. People buy books based on negative reviews, and here's a little thing that people always get shocked about. When I go to Amazon to read a review, what's the first star rating do you think I click on?
3 star.
No, 1 star.
I do 3 star.
I do 1 star. I always read the 1 stars first. First off, sometimes they're mostly entertaining, the 1 stars. But number 2, it's also the 1 star reviews actually give a critical breakdown of the book. And has a 1 star ever turned me off from buying a book? No. Have I bought a book and thought, should I listen to that 1 star review? Well, I guess I should. But you know, and that's the thing is, I think that authors need to realize is that negative reviews don't really affect your sales. Your behavior, though.
How you react to them. I do read reviews. I'm kind of the masochist. I sometimes, and I even as I'm doing it, I know I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I will go to Goodreads and I will click on the filter and I will just read the 1 star reviews. And that's all. I know it's crazy.
So what happens afterwards? Are you like rocking in the corner somewhere?
The thing is, and this might change someday, but up until this point, I have never read something in a 1 star review that I haven't thought for myself at least somewhere in the process. And so what they tell me is like, my gut was right, that I shouldn't, like when I see something where somewhere in the process I thought like, maybe I should have done this instead, or maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then when I see that reflected in a 1-star review, I'm like, I should have gone with my gut. And that's what it tells me. And so I've never had something in a 1-star review that hasn't at least crossed my mind before. But I'm also a worrier. Like that's what, like from the minute, like I said, when I turn in that book to my editor, I'm like evaluating in my head like all of the things that could possibly be wrong with it, and they're just like on a constant loop in my head. And there's something reassuring to me about reading a 1-star review and being like, I'm not crazy. Like those are problems that I am aware of, and I should, and I'm not like tripping myself out on them. Like they're problems, and I should fix them next time. But it's funny, I don't read good reviews very often, unless it's like a blogger I know, and then I read it to sort of support that blogger because they've been good to me and I would be good to them back. I don't ever, like, after I read all those 1-star reviews, you would think I would go cheer myself up with the 5-star reviews. I don't, I just wallow.
So we're currently standing in line, waiting to get our book signed. They're right over there. So this is her lovely pile of books, plus the little poster stand thing that we helped them clean up.
We volunteered.
And then there are your books there. Now here's my pile. And then I thought I was bad. And let's take a look at Carmen.
Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Big sister, little sister. What? All the book porn. All the book porn.
It's like book boyfriends.
Pretty much.
Yeah, here's one.
Yeah.
Feel those abs.
Just Darn, no licking?
No licking.
Darn. You might get a paper cut that way too. We may not want to lick.